Things. Hello, welcome. Here we are once again. Tai Chi with me, Phil. Discover Tai Chi for limb power, and yeah, it's been proper meh weather up here in Yorkshire. Grey, damp, cold. That's all I can say. Maybe you've been a bit luckier. I'm not sure in your part of the world. So we're going to get started. Going to do a couple of big bird Qigong or Daoyin movements to get us started, and then we'll go from there. So seated, standing, you know the rules. Just look after yourself, move comfortably. I'm going to come out the way, take my box with me. So you will need a bit of arm space in your space wherever you are. We're going to do Wild Goose. Just a movement from Wild Goose Qigong. Comes from Western China. I'm going to actually turn my back because I think it works easier if I do so. Okay, I'm bringing hands, arms behind me, folded just like a pair of wings. And I'm releasing my right arm or wing and spreading my feathers slowly upwards and forwards. I create a nice round shape through the arm into the shoulder. Turn and have a little look under that wing. Unwind. And then fold that wing back where it came from. I turn a little bit to release the left wing and sweep that one up and forward. And again, I have a little look underneath as I turn to look or preen my feathers. And then I sweep that one back where it came from. And now here's our opportunity to stretch out both wings. As you can see, we need some space. And then fold them back the way we came. Just like so. Okay, let's go again with the right side. So sweeping upwards, turning gently, looking underneath, not forcing things. Kind of almost putting ourselves into the mind and body of the wild goose, so to speak, as it spreads its wings. Has a little preen underneath and then unwinds. We want it to feel very, very natural. Here we go again. Spread those wings. It's a real shoulder opener, this first movement. And come back the way we came. So I'm not sure if this will confuse things. I'll face the camera. Still the same thing. We'll do one more round. So this is my right hand and arm sweeping up and forwards. I'm taking a turn to look underneath. And then folding it back where we came from. Good job, folks. Here we go again with the left side, sweeping up and forwards. Turning, looking, unwinding, and folding back where it came from. And then our final sweep of both wings kind of has a very ballet-like type feel to it as we create that round shape and then fold back where we came from. So I hope you feel that you've stretched your wings, and we're going to do an alternative bird called the crane or white crane. I'm going to turn my back again. We're in the same start position as we were with Wild Goose. This time I'm releasing my right hand and arm, but it goes out to the side. I can look in that direction. It's like a little lift. And then I fold away, and then I look to the left, and I do the same with the left one. So we're looking for that softness. Back to the right side. Trying to just let the back of the wrist come to shoulder height and then back down again. We're not going too high with those wing beats. Okay, I'm going to turn back, face the camera as we go again to our right. But look what happens. I'm going to sweep my hand across to my left hip. Okay, you can kind of clasp it. Then I'm going to open up the left wing. It's going to go, I'm going to turn around again. It can either go on the side of the hip or back or small of the back. And then I'm turning in that direction. So I'm turning to the left. Gives us a little stretch and rotation. And then I'm going to release that left wing. I'm going to release the right wing. And this time I'm coming across, taking hold of my right hip with my left, taking out the right, bringing it back, putting it somewhere from the hip all the way into the small of the back, wherever's comfortable. And now I turn to the right. And then unwind. Let the right wing come out. I'm releasing the left hand. I'm going to come across and do a wing beat on the left. I've grasped my left hip with the right hand. Place that left hand in the small of the back if possible. Turn to the left. Unwind. And I'm going to go one more time. So I'm looking to my right. One more side. Wing beat, grasping the right hip with the left hand. Placing this somewhere in the back. Turning to the right. Unwinding. And then just releasing everything. I'm going to turn back to the front as we do so. We come to a rest. A little bit complicated. Tricky to do on video, so you can let me know whether that was just a bit too much to get rights, lefts and things, but it's a nice movement. I hope you like this idea of stretching your wings to get us started. Okay, let's do 4 movements from the 8 strands of brocade. I'm just going to do a mix. So here we go. We'll start off with 2 hands hold the sky. Turning over, pressing up. And we're just moving very easily today. Trying to get a sense of continuity. So there's just a sense of a smooth flow. As we bring the hands down, they almost come to a stop, but they immediately segue into lifting again. So there's this circularity going on, this sense of smooth continuity. Lovely. I'm going to go one more time. And we'll see if we'll do a smooth transition into wise owl. So turning to the right. Again, this time we lift the palms. no higher than shoulder height. And again, just as they lift, they begin to lower. We turn back and then we continue the turn to the left. Smooth transitions from one position to another. Something that seems so indicative of Tai Chi movement. Smooth transitions. Quite different from different movement modalities. Not necessarily better, just different, an alternative. And that can be quite nice. Enjoy different ways of moving. Turning. I'm not keeping count as such. I'm going to do one more on my left. That's it. And then segueing into holding a ball, and we're going to part the earth from the sky. If I turn a little bit, bringing a top hand up and pushing down and creating this S shape as we press. And then letting everything transition back to where we came from. Hands have swapped positions, and then we bring the bottom hand up, turn over, press, just like so. And we have these smooth transitions again. It's an expansion and then a contraction. But it's almost indiscernible where one finishes and the other begins. And if it fits with your natural breath cycle, then you might want to have a big breath in maybe during one of the movements where we expand. And then just let the breath go as we return where we started from. So we're just doing a few, just as I say, to get this sense of continuity. I'm going to make this one my last one. Really doesn't matter that we're in sync or not. And then, whether you're seated or standing, get ready. We're going to draw our imaginary bow and arrow. You can choose whether it's left or right. We're simply crossing, drawing our bow smoothly. And I want you to just have this sense of a smooth release. Just let the arrow go and just have this circularity. And we pick the bow up again, this time to draw to the opposite side. And again, there's just this smooth sense of draw and release. And we just alternate from one side to the other, not worrying about whether we're all going in the same direction. Again, you might find that it just works well with an in-breath and an out-breath as you release that arrow. And then you might just relax on the way down. And then again, if you wish, there could be an in-breath. Release on the out-breath. And everything's just working very nicely, all together, integrated. So, again, not counting reps or sets or anything like that, just moving. Okay, this is going to be my last one. Let's make it, whichever side you're on, your last one too. Okay, So there you go. 4, was it 4 movements? See, again, I lose count. Just have a little bit of a move, seated or standing. Again, standing, being seated for a long time can be quite onerous. But I'm going to join those people who are seated, watching now or watching later, for some more movements. But our theme is continuity, this sense of smooth transitions, smooth segues, just smoothness. Okay, so we'll do gazing at the moon, which is this big sweeping turn, looking up and almost backwards from right to left. Again, you can start on whichever side you prefer, and I'm sweeping up, gesturing with both hands and arms up towards an imaginary moon, letting them drop down smoothly, and then going up to the other side. And again, I'm just not forcing the movement. I'm aiming for this smooth transition from one side and then to the other. It's like a pendulum. It's got a rhythm. I'm really not thinking about my breath in any particular way. Trying to just move easily, taking the path of least resistance. Not keeping track of reps, just moving. And there tends to come a point where you go, okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to do one more to each side, because that kind of feels about right for me. And in some respects, the philosophy of Tai Chi is finding those right for me moments, right for me kind of attitudes, all kinds of right for me in the moment, so to speak. But that means that we've got to pay attention, doesn't it, to listen to how we feel, how things have been, maybe the day or two previously, how tired we are or how energetic we feel. And those they give us clues as to, yeah, what's right for me in this moment. Okay, let's do another movement where we'll do simple pushing palms. Again, it lends itself really nicely to a to and fro or making waves. So I'm just picking my hands up, drawing them back. I imagine that I place them in water, and then could be with a bit of a lean forward. I push, and then lift clear, roll back, and push. If you're standing up and you feel comfortable putting one leg in front of the other, even if just a little bit, just to aid that push, you can do. But again, it depends what's right for you at this point in time. It's okay just to stand square on. Or again, it's okay to take a seat if you would prefer. But we've got in this smooth ebb and flow, a push and then a draw back like a wave, successive swells. Could be a breath in and then a breath out with a push. And if that works for you, enjoy that sensation. Okay, last one, I think. Push. and rest. There we go. Again, have a little bit of a move. Just ease pressure if you're feeling pressure standing or seated. Just kind of have a bit of a move about. Again, we're always trying to be as comfortable as we can under the circumstances under which we find ourselves. So let's part some clouds. As I say, I've had a really grey, cloudy day. So let's see if we can part some of those clouds. I'm crossing hands and arms. Again, this movement lends itself to these smooth transitions and segues, little finger edges leading on the down, but then they turn over, cross again, lift, rise. And bring them down. Again, if it feels right for you to take a big in breath, followed by an out breath, and do so. And when we think about the element of song, letting go, it's not just a physical letting go, it's an emotional, mental letting go as well. We're kind of momentarily, at least, just trying to leave purposefully tensions behind for the time being. It's this paradox of active relaxation is that we're purposefully seeking relaxation, which can seem an unusual concept. But that's what Tai Chi is about in many respects. So again, I'm not keeping track of how many I've done, I'm just going by feel. I'm going to do one more though, just to bring things to a close. I think there's a description, isn't there? There's cooks who follow recipes, and then there's professional chefs who manipulate ingredients on the fly, even though they cook the same meal perhaps, but they're constantly adjusting as they go, as things change over the course of an evening maybe. And that's maybe some of the differences there. There's a certain feel element to what we're doing. Okay, let's do a few more movements because time seems to be flying. Let's do open the chest. Again, some big arm movements. So once again, we're picking the hands up and we're opening. And then closing. And then lowering. You can lower to the knees if you sat down with me, or lower to the side. And then once again, it's a lift and an open. Opening hearts, it's called. So again, that gives us a clue to maybe the feel or sensibility that we're looking for. Again, another movement that might lend itself nicely to a big in-breath and then an out-breath. Lovely. We'll make this the last one. I don't actually think we've done this one before. You can tell me. We're going to clasp our wrists. We'll call it opening and closing a window. You'll see what I mean. pick a direction to circle your arms. Again, doesn't matter which way you go. I'm circling, but then lifting up, and it's as if I open a window, look through, there I am, and then I circle around and then close the window. And so basically it's just a circling and a lifting of the forearms that are supported, but we're rotating lots of mobility through the shoulders. I hope this is okay. I'm just circling in the same direction. Again, not really keeping count of how many circles. But I think I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to change direction as I come round to the base of the movement here, and then sweep back and go the opposite way for a number of circuits. That's a good one. You can feel probably the torso working quite a lot in this movement, again, whether you're seated or standing. I'm going to go for one more circuit. That's it. And come to an arrest. Okay. So let's finish. Again, we haven't done this in a little while with a little breath awareness exercise. Again, it gives us an opportunity to kind of take an excursion to a different place using our powers of mental imagery. But we're going to use our hands as little placeholders to kind of keep ourselves in touch and grounded. So if you give me a wave with your right hand, and if you place that, I'm just going to put it under my mic, there you go, on your heart, or above your heart, I should say. And then left hand sweeps down, lower abdomen, just below your navel. If you sat down with me, it's sat in your lap. Take a breath in, let it go. Rest your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Picture yourself in springtime. We've got a blush of green leaves, sunshine, warmth, and all the sights, sounds, and sensations of being in a green woodland. Springtime though, so you're transporting yourself to a kind of very different environment from where you are right now, just using your imagination. You've probably all got somewhere in mind where you can really picture such a scene. So just kind of sit or stand present to that place, breathing it in, so to speak. And we might just rest there for 30, 60 seconds. It's just like we linger for a moment. Well, we're going to have to pull the hands away. That's our cue to kind of bring ourselves back to where we are. But it kind of also gives us a clue to maybe that's a tool that we can use to find some headspace. Again, it's a micro little meditation, we might call it. Kind of goes back quite a long way. We've got some good kind of evidence for these abilities to kind of conjure up a little moment for ourselves that might be different from where our present circumstances are. It's not magic, it's just mental imagery used by athletes, used by lots of people nowadays to conjure up a different kind of headspace. So that brings us to a close. I can see that we've got to the top of the hour or just gone past. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that's been an enjoyable half hour of Qigong and a little micro meditation and a kind of theme on continuity. So let me bring myself a bit closer, switch the recording off. If you need to get off, just give me a wave.
Thanks, Phil. That was great.